Good morning, beautiful people. It's a beautiful morning. What's going on, Miss Cynthia? How you feeling this morning? What's going on, Maria and Kendrick and Miss Sybil? Boy, listen, I was reading my book this morning, and I said there are some stuff in this that really connects with this whole subject we're dealing with. How many of you guys enjoy this week's subject? How many of y'all enjoy this week? Do me a favor. What do you want me to talk about? What do you want me to lean into in the weeks and months to come? I'm very interested in diving into all kinds of subject, man, because I want to be free. I want to be free, and so I'm interested in hearing what you think we should talk about. This morning we're going to continue our series. We're going to close this out, but it's been a good week, man. Thank you all for showing up. Thank you for being a part. Okay. This morning, we're continuing our talk on this whole subject of dealing with shame, guilt, and hurt. Dealing with shame, guilt, and hurt. I'm of the belief that everybody deals with it. Everybody deals with it. I wrote something in my book, and I thought to pull the book out because I've been trying to practice listening to my book. I have it on audio, I have it on Audible, I have it on Kindle, and I have it in paperback. But been listening to it this morning, and in chapter 9 highlighted some things. Kendrick, did you capture these in chapter 9? Pastor Claire, I got to get you the revised version of the book, sir. It says the past cannot change. Watch this. The past cannot be changed, forgotten, edited, or erased. Let me say it again. The past cannot be changed, forgotten, edited, or erased. It can only be accepted. It can only be accepted. That's powerful. That's powerful. That's powerful. The only power the past has over you is the power you give it. That's all in chapter 9. If you have not gotten my book, get the book. Okay? Sometimes we are given the opportunity to hear another person's past so that it does not become our future. You can learn from someone else's past. You ought to be learning from your past. Okay? You are not defined, limited, or disqualified by your past. Boy, somebody ought to shout. Miller, you talking today. You are helping us this morning. Let me say it again. You are not defined. You're not limited. You're not disqualified by your past. Now, here's what you got to remember. Your past was yesterday. Your past was last week. Your past was last month. Your past was last year. Your past is all of those years that's behind you. But the Bible teaches us, it says, forgetting those things that are behind and pressing towards those things that are in front of us. That are in front of us. So this morning, I want to lean into this subject matter of dealing with the healing power of forgiveness. And this is about you. The healing power of forgiveness. Some people needs to be forgiven, not because they're sorry and they've apologized. Some people need to be forgiven because you need to move on. Some people need to be forgiven because you need to move on. I want to deal with this whole concept of overcoming shame, guilt, and hurt in the form of forgiveness. Self-forgiveness is necessary to live life effectively. Forgiving oneself. It's important that you learn to forgive yourself. I saw a couple of quotes while I was doing the research on this subject, and it says, forgiving yourself is the first step to finding peace within your own heart. Forgiving yourself is the first step to finding peace in your own heart. Somebody said, I'm learning to forgive myself. My God, I'm glad you're learning. I'm glad I'm learning. I'm glad I've learned. I've learned that, listen, man, I've made some mistakes. I have some things I was ashamed about. There are some things I carried guilt in from one season to the next. There were things that hurt me in my past. There were things that hurt me in my past. There were some people I may have hurt in the past. Or may have, I've hurt. There's some people who don't really like me. I'm not their favorite cup of tea. Okay? I've asked people to forgive me. I've asked myself, when will you forgive yourself, Ricardo? The forgiveness is a critical part of doing life on a whole nother level. You got to learn to forgive yourself. You have to practice letting stuff go. Now, what we do sometimes, Kendrick, what we do sometimes, Pastor Claire, is we nurse the behavior of the past and we hold on to it because somehow along the way we've become addicted to the pain. We've become addicted to holding on to the idea. We've established it as something. Okay, we've established it as something so grandiose that we carry it in new seasons. We carry it beyond where it should be taken. Okay, watch this one. Let go of the past and forgive yourself. You deserve to be free from the burden of yesterday. The burden of yesterday. There are some people who haven't let go of what happened to them in high school. There are some people who haven't let go of them at their last church. There are some people who haven't let go of what happened in their relationships. There are some people who haven't let go of what happened to them in their childhood. Let me tell you something. There's some crazy stuff that has happened to me. There is some crazy stuff that has happened to you. Let me tell you, no one is exempt from life throwing them some curveballs that they can look at and say, oh, look what happened to me. Look what happened to me. Life, you live life long enough, and some things are going to happen to you that you boy, listen, there are some things that's going to happen to you that you didn't thought would happen to you. But along the way, you cannot allow the things that has happened to you to paralyze you and to hold you there with a chokehold. This chokehold that just holds you there, and you find yourself, watch this, greater opportunities are always presenting itself to us, Angela, but it is the burden of the past that we bring into our present that messes up a good present. The present needs to be enjoyed. The present needs to be appreciated. But Miller, you don't understand. You don't understand what he did to me. You don't understand what she did to me. You don't understand what I went through. You don't understand how bad that hurt me. You don't understand. At the very core, I am mad. I am angry. And I'm saying to you, you're going to have to free yourself of the burden of yesterday if you're going to enjoy the benefits of today. Today is a gift. Today is a gift. But a lot of us are ruining today by bringing the mess of the past into something that's beautiful. Something that is a gift. I want you to do me a favor. Share this with somebody. Tag somebody who needs to hear this morning, because you will be amazed the amount of people who go into their cubicle. You'll be amazed the amount of people who drive into their garage, just let it down and don't even connect themselves with society. People who go to church, they come in right on time and they leave a couple of minutes before service ends because they're still carrying stuff they need to let go. There are a lot of people who are out of place, not because they're not gifted, not because they're not educated, not because they don't have a lot going for them. It's because of what they continue to carry. The healing power of self-forgiveness is a critical part of the effective living journey. Write that down. The healing power of self-forgiveness is a critical part of effective living. You look back over your life, you're going to have some guilt factors. You're going to have some things, oh man, I wish I did. Some regrets. And let me tell you something. You can make the rest of your life live on the regrets of the past, or you can get up and dust yourself off and tell yourself, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to forgive myself, and I'm going to make the rest of my life the best of my life. Self-forgiveness is the key to unlocking the door of self-love and inner healing. Did you catch that? Esther, did you catch that? Self-forgiveness is the key to unlocking the door of self-love and inner healing. Esther, this is your day to rise to the occasion and say, it's me versus me. I'm amazed. I got to finish this up because I got a meeting to go to. But I'm amazed by the amount of people who know they need what I bring in the morning session, but they won't discipline themselves to get up and allow this stuff to work itself out in their life, in their head, in their spirit, and get it in there so much until they keep pushing, until the behavior starts to change. The behavior starts to change because of stinking thinking is starting to be taken out of your life because you keep showing up and listening to Coach Miller, and Coach Miller keeps bringing this stuff. That it's not the nicest stuff. It's not the easiest stuff to hear. It's not even the easiest stuff to address. But here's the deal. You are going to have to confront it if you're going to be free from it. Let me say that again. Write that down. You are going to have to confront it if you're going to be free from it. And I'm telling you, this is your season. There is no skeleton in the closet. This is your season for no elephant in the room. Get some help if you need some help. But don't you ignore that don't you ignore that your future is too promising for you to be carrying the mess of the past. Forgive yourself. Self-forgiveness is the key to unlocking the door to self-love and inner healing. Okay? It is critical to forgive ourselves from the past mistakes to foster personal growth and emotional well-being. Emotional well-being. Some people, Miss Cynthia, they're just not good to themselves. They're not good for themselves because they wouldn't go in there and just address. It's like being a hoarder of past hurt. Yada baba. I feel that right there. Angela, did you hear that just now? Being a hoarder of past hurt. Man, Pastor Claire, did you hear what I just say, Pastor Claire? Being a hoarder of past hurt. It is critical to forgive ourselves from past mistakes to foster personal growth and emotional well-being. But some people have become hoarders of past offenses. Some people have become hoarders of holding on to different forms of shame. Different forms of shame. And here's what that does. Here's what that does. It puts you in a headlock and it keeps you in bondage. You're correct, Angela. It keeps you in bondage. Carrying the weight of the past hinders us and bring about self-destructive patterns, hindering progress and happiness. There are some people, there is no level of peace. There is very limited happiness. There is very limited progress because they are hoarders. They are hoarders of past hurt. They are hoarders of past offense. And what is happening, ladies and gentlemen, what is happening is you could be free, but you got to let yourself go past. Listen, it happened. It happened. Miller, you saying that like it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying it's possible. You can't get free from what you're not willing to confront. Okay? You can't get free from what you're unwilling to confront. So watch this. Forgiveness allows us to release resentment and the negative emotion, paving the way for self-compassion and acceptance. Here's what I found, Tamika Denise, here's what I found a lot of people struggle with. Self-compassion and acceptance. Self-compassion and acceptance. You've gone through some stuff, but you will forgive everybody else, but you won't forgive yourself. You won't forgive yourself. You don't love you enough to let it go. You don't love you enough to go ahead and say, okay, this is a new month. This is a new year. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up some mess in my life. Hello, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to declutterize my emotions. I'm going to declutterize my emotional state, my being that's from the core of my mind, my heart. I need a cleansing. I need an internal cleansing. That's really what fasting does. That's really what a good quiet time and a good walk on a park, or just journaling and identifying what mess that I've allowed to be carried that I need to let go. You got to look inside yourself and identify what needs to go and what needs to stay. That's the homework this weekend. Look within yourself and ask yourself what needs to go and what needs to stay. Let me tell you, how do you identify what needs to go and what needs to stay? Is it still adding value? Is it helping you to progressively move forward? It stays. If it's adding value, it stays. But oh, if it's taking from you, hello, if it's burdening you down, if it's causing you to lose your smile, if listen, man, you talk like an angry person, you live like an angry person, you're not engaging in life because of what has happened, because you don't understand what you've been carrying has been hurting you. And I'm here today to tell you, you got to let some stuff go. Okay? So forgiveness allows us to release resentment and negative emotions, paving the way for self-compassion. Resentment is real, ladies and gentlemen. You look at some people and you get mad. You look at your past and you get mad. Hello, somebody. You pull into a parking lot and you get mad. You sit next to some people and you just get mad. And I'm telling you, if you don't confront it, you'll never be free from it. Now, you said, Miller, how do I confront it? Okay, you need to do an assessment on your life. What am I carrying that I don't need to carry? And sometimes, if you can't do this by yourself, get help. I'm a strong believer in a therapist. I believe everybody should have a therapist. Just like how you have a dentist and you got a doctor, and you go get a therapist. Okay, by acknowledging our humanity, we learn from mistakes and develop resilience. I'm going to make it through this. How many of you can say that this morning? No matter what I've gone through, I'm going to make it through this. Now, what I'm here today to tell you, man, God, listen, if you're still carrying stuff 3 years out, 5 years out, 10 years out, listen, learn to appreciate the present. It's a gift. Forgiving ourselves set the example for others, fostering healthier relationships and a more empathetic society. You get to that place where you start to realize, you know what? I've had to learn to forgive myself, but equally as I've learned to forgive myself, guess what? It's a testament of others realizing forgiving oneself is possible. Forgiving oneself is possible. Okay? Overcoming shame, overcoming guilt, overcoming hurt is an inward work. Okay, it's an inward work, and a lot of people want a facade. They just want to look good on the outside. I'm here today to tell you, don't worry about the outside as much as make sure you're stronger than you look. Hello, this is my season to be stronger than I look. This is my season to be free. Whom the Son set free is free indeed. I am coming for all that God has for me, and I'm starting to do the work from the inside. I'm starting to do the work from the inside. So may the Holy Spirit free me from all past hurt, from all past shame, and from all past, listen, guilt. I am not carrying into this weekend what should have been left into last month. I'm not carrying into this weekend what should have been left into last year. Somebody ought to say, I am letting it go. I am letting it go. Please know you can be stronger than you look, and you got to get to the point where you're not living the broad way, you're living the narrow way. You're living the way that's God's way, God's idea. As I mentioned in my book this morning, guys, if you capture this, listen to this. The past cannot be changed, forgotten, edited, or erased. It can only be accepted. It can only be accepted. The only power the past has over you is the power you give it. Okay? The power you give it. I'm Coach Ricardo Miller. Join me next week, Monday through Friday. We're going to dive into some stuff, because I'm working this thing to ensure that not only am I free, my community is free as well. We've only got one life to live, ladies and gentlemen. A day wasted is a day you'll never have again. Learn to free yourself from that which have held you back. I'm 48 years old, Angela. Why in the good God Almighty world am I still struggling with childhood issues? Why am I still struggling with stuff happened 10 years ago, 5 years ago? Why am I still carrying stuff that happened last year into a beautiful year like this year? Because here's the deal. It's a skill. It's a skill one must acquire to identify what is shaming me, what is hurting me, what guilt am I carrying that I need to learn how to identify and leave it there so it doesn't continue to mess with me. Because let me tell you something, what will mess up a beautiful future is the junk, the garbage, the mess of yesterday. Let it go and get the necessary help to walk in freedom. I want to help some people. Don't miss next week. God bless you. Share this with somebody. Go back and listen to this week's teaching. We've dealt with shame, hurt, and guilt. It happens to all of us. No one is exempt from it. But the question is how you're going to deal with it. Write this down. Pastor Claire, you know you taught me this quote. Write this down, ladies and gentlemen. Life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you respond to it. Write that down. You need that. Hold that. Life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you respond to it. Have a great day. I'll see you back here Monday, same time, same place. God bless you. Bye-bye.